Hey, ladies. Um, y'all, believe it or not, I'm just waking up. I slept all day. After my grandbaby went home, I was so tired because I was up from the night before. I have like y'all definitely put it in with them readings. I had a total of 60 videos, and man, hold on one second. So yeah, I went to sleep, but man, I was so tired. No, sir, I forgot to send you the text when I sent the clip. No, ma'am, that's just a H. No, no. I said, what she heart that mess for? Oh, no, ma'am. You better not never let me do that. You better get dead in my rump if I ever try that. I said, anyway, I'm on live with if you still up, I'll text you and call you when I finish. All right, love, but what Chloe doing? Oh, okay. Jamil got home yet? Okay then. All right, later. So yeah, ladies, I slept all day, but yeah, I want to have a debate. I really do. I want to have a little chat. Before I get up, I gotta do some more videos. So I'm not savvy just yet with like social media. I'm still learning my way. But lately, I have been on Instagram. I scroll a lot on Instagram, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. I see a lot of beautiful women. Those women are they are just drop dead gorgeous. Now I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if they are broad bodies or if they're built bodies, but most of them look really good. So the reason why I want to have this debate, I want to see what other women think about this, or if men happen to be in here. There's this one lady, and she had on this little see-through dress, and it had a long split on the side, but it was from like her hip up, and it was like a halter. It was really cute, but you could see like the side of her little cooter. So a lot of men were in the comments saying, but she's beautiful. I cannot lie, she's beautiful, and it looks like her body is naturally like that, to be honest. So a lot of men were in the comments saying, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. I would love to have fun with her, but I would never wife her. And then the women started saying, because you're insecure and you're jealous. So my thing is this. Now y'all know it's a big trend, of beauty, body, sex. Sex is gonna always sell. And I get people use sexiness or just sex to, tempt people, lure them in, whatever have you. Do you think that men play over women with attractive, that have the high attraction? And guess what? Don't be. It's okay to say that there are some women, and there are some women that's just naturally beautiful, and they have that high attraction. That's just that. And some of them have naturally built bodies. They have the nice, perfect butt. Some of them is genetics. Others of them that have it naturally is because they work out. They use that. That's their major asset in life. But do y'all think that men really play over those women, or they get with them for keeps? Now I'm gonna tell you my experience in it, and then I'm gonna keep it a band tonight. I'm gonna tell you my experience in it, but I wanna see what you have to say. Well, many people still in my life don't know that I used to have an escort company, and how I started the escort company. I dated a multimillionaire. When he passed, his net worth was over 100 million, but he was a wealthy man. He was a wealthy man. When I met him, I was a very young girl. I was in my early 20s. 21 is when I actually met him. his friends, when they would come to South Carolina, used to always say, you don't have any friends that want to hang out or have some fun. And I've always been almost a loner, and I've always been pretty much a little bit of a boring person. I'm the hype of the party as far as like, comedian. I'm sure y'all know that. But I've always attracted females that have that high attraction. They will always be the pretty girls, and I would be the average girl or the okay girl. So that's why I said let's keep it a band. But I'm gonna be honest, they were always the one that were sexually active and highly experimental and promiscuous. I had my parts in it, so I'm not saying that I was innocent, but people made the assumption that I was the one that was highly sexually active and experimental and promiscuous, but it used to be the some of the girls I used to hang around. But the girls I used to hang around during that time of my life, they I really don't know why they used to like me. I think because my dad, brought me, a nice car. I had a nice vehicle when I was young. So anyway, I said, what kind of friends, y'all are looking for? And I had just had I just had Nosha. So anyway, so I said, well, I might have some friends. I said, now I don't know what kind of fun you talking about, but I'll see. And so Kenneth, when they all met, we had a little party one night, and they took us all out. And Kenneth was saying, he said, "Baby, you can make so much money off of this." He said, "Don't sell yourself short." And I asked him, I said, "What do you mean?" So he said, "My friends will pay you to be to spend time with your friends, but he called them lady friends. That's their age group. They use the term lady friends." And I said, "Why you gotta pay? Why they gotta pay me?" And he said, "Because you can be a hookup." He said, "You can hook them up with people." And I was like, "Oh." So he broke it all down to me, this and this and that. So anyway, y'all, this is like a no cap story. No cap. I had that business for some years. That business made good money. Now, I have two celebrities that I'm just happen to be related to. They're a little further down the bloodline, but I know them. And I have some family members that made it off very well in life. They're very rich, but now they're very wealthy. So they used to patronize my business as well. And they always say, they always, like my friends used to always say, "Oh, your cousin's so fine. Oh my God, your cousin got money. I didn't know this was your cousin." I was like, "Yeah, we just don't look alike." Y'all, I promise y'all, no lie. Them girls, some of the things those girls was doing behind the scenes, like my cousins, especially when my cousin I used to deal with them, my cousins just made the assumption, "Candy, you out here doing this too." And I was like, "Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm not doing that." But they used to do so much sexually. So Kenneth's friends, we structured some things to make it a little business for me, and that's what it, that's how I started my escort business, and it was supposed to be a no sex policy, but unbeknownst to me, they were having sex and having fun. They called it having fun, but I learned that having fun was them getting down sexually with each other behind the scenes, y'all. When I look at these girls on Instagram, and I say Instagram because that's mainly where I see a lot of like beautiful women, nice bodies, and it can be different type of videos. Even the videos where they're cooking, but they're cooking in some lingerie or some spandex, some leggings, twerking, but they're advertising their body. I'm gonna tell you something. Every time I see them videos, my right hand to God, I always think about those girls that made me the kind of money I made off that escort business, and the things that they were doing that they were not supposed to do. So my question is this: do y'all think that these women out here do you think they trick off? Trick, what we call tricking is, a woman that'll make do something strange for some change. And something strange can be sex for money, even sex for money, or they get highly experimental, they get freaked out behind the scenes. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people from my childhood, I swear to God, there's no lie, people made the assumption that I was the fast one, and I had my fast moments, so don't get it twisted. But that wide open fast, and where you don't have no boundaries and stuff like that, they thought that was me because I had like a little big butt, a little apple butt at that time, and small frame but a big butt. But it was the girls, but the some of the friend girls that used to like me back in the day, they used to be want to be around me because of who my cousins were, especially when my cousins came down south, when they came, from for the holidays or like stopped in, and sometimes they would let me use their car. But my cousin used to let me drive their car to drop them off certain places, to do their dirt and stuff like that. So I never really had like friends like that. I guess that was my big season of usury, because they used to use me to get to my, what I'm saying, to my cousins. So I'm just asking, do you all think that those women get the good men? Do you think those women that you see, that we see, that's so pretty, so beautiful, the nice body, but some of them are a lot of are very explicit in my opinion on the internet. Do you think they get the good men, or do you think the good men are playing with them? What do y'all think? And I want to go back and say something too. I think that's Anna. Anna, I totally agree. Now, I'm not saying every highly attractive woman compromises herself, but I'm going to tell you, I have been around some very highly attractive women, and a lot of them do. I'm not going to say it's all, I'm not going to say it's the majority, but a lot of them do. And when I moved to Colombia, my people started coming to see me when I was in Colombia. Colombia was a whole different ball game with my escort business. I'm not even gonna lie. If I didn't get back in the church, there's no telling where that business would have took me. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Okay, so I think her name is Yona. Yona said she thinks, yeah, the good men, she says, will do anything to get what they want, and some men like attention. Yep, I agree. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something that escort business taught me very early, very, very early, very, very early. I don't think they get the good men. I think they get the weak men. And what I mean by the weak men, I think they get the men that, have not gained discipline over their mind and have enough self-control. But because we see a man that goes to work, he pays bills, he works hard, especially if he make a lot of money, we see that part of that man, we think, oh, she got a good man, but she a trick. But actually, he's just as much of a trick than what she is. Yep. I feel like he's just as much of a trick because he gotta buy. You know what I'm saying? He can't get her off regular swag, you know, and regular swag is a man that knows how to talk to a woman. He may not have a whole lot, but he can make you naturally laugh. He knows how to make you feel good about who you are. When he takes you out on a date, you have his direct attention. He doesn't have a wandering eye. He has enough control for the lady that's right there in his face. So a lot of men that get these type of women, I've noticed something, especially when I was reading through them comments. These men are not as disciplined as we think. And I didn't think about it this way when I was doing that escort business, when Kenneth and them had put me on. Um, but they gotta buy women because some of them, they are not the highly attractive men. Y'all know how we see these hunks on Now I see these good looking men on TikTok when I'm on TikTok trying to work. Them good looking men, them men look good. They're not the men that look the best. They're not the most attractive man. They don't have the natural nice looking body, the natural pretty teeth, the even skin tone, the good texture of hair, or their hair being on point. Some of these men, they are highly flawed as well. I'm talking about on a physical side. But because they make money, some of them, and not all of them, but I'm saying I noticed that. Um, but because they make money, they can buy. That's just what I feel, and I think it's an even trade because they get a woman that uses what she has to get what she wants or needs, but they are a man too that use what they have to get what they want or need. So I take it as it's pretty much even on that scale. But you know what? Even in the PYT, even if it's not a PYT, to be honest with you, like the one, let me see if I can find that her Instagram again. Hold on, let me see if it comes back up. Even if she's not young, because this woman I was looking at tonight, she has like she has a lot of nice fashion. She doesn't look young. She doesn't look young at all, but she just got a really nice body. And I don't know if she's married. I don't know if she's single. I really don't know what she does on Instagram because I watch her clothes. But she doesn't look young. I don't think it's just younger women that do it. I think it's women that just want to do it. I just think that's what it is. I don't think it's age based. Now I do feel like a lot of times when you're young, you do things, unbeknownst to knowing the morals and values behind it. So young and dumb I can get, but now we see a lot of older people that's ignorant, just stupid. Yeah, I think men think they can use the same technique, but I think it's the weak men that they get. And the fun girl, the things that the girls was doing, some of the girls was doing back in the day when when it was me and my friends, well, Ken and friends, I wasn't doing those things. Those girls were into oral back then, and they were into threesomes back then. This was unbeknownst to me. I did not know this. That's my right hand to the Lord. They were into like experimental things like backdooring. They were into those things, but they also was making money on the side, extra money from the side from kin and friends. So I believe people, people that are compromise themselves gonna do it, whether it's a little bit of money or a lot of money. That's just who a person is. When you want some whole stuff, you just want some whole stuff, and that's just that. Um, so that brings me to my next question. Do you ladies think, or whoever's in here, do y'all think that the world has a lustful problem or a perversion problem? Which ones? Now, this is what I think. I think the world has a issue of perversion. I think we live in such a perverted world. Society has become so corrupt, and I think we have normalized so many abnormal sexual behaviors that's why we can't recognize simple, basic, common things um that start off unnatural. I just think that's where it is. Yeah, I think that's where it is. And I'm gonna tell you something. I think, when I wake up sometimes, like today, when I woke up today, I woke up and called my daughter, check on them, make sure they made it home. So then I just sat here and scroll. I said, I'm gonna get up in a minute and start back with these videos. And so that caught my eye. when I click on the internet, everything is so explicit. Everything is so open. Nothing is PG anymore or rated G. Everything is rated R, if not XX. You feel me? And I don't think, I don't know if it came from a lustful place that became undisciplined, uncontrolled, and undignified, or we just have that many perverts in the world. I think that's also why we have people that don't understand appropriateness and age range of dating. I think that we have, normalized so much that people don't understand that a grown man, like that. I saw this something else I saw on Instagram. A 48-year-old pastor, male pastor, got caught in the back seat with a 16-year-old boy. They were in an act. He was doing sexual favors to the pastor. Now there was a woman on TikTok. She's 68 and her boyfriend is 26. And everybody was complimenting her and saying, "Grandma, go ahead." And she looks good. She looks amazing. But all I saw was perversion, a perverted woman. 68 and 26, y'all. And people were saying, well, if grandpa had a girlfriend that was 26, it wouldn't be no problem. It's like there's a whole different Me Too move, or a whole different move of they did it, so now it's our turn. Me personally, on my personal conviction, I don't think that's how I can rock. So I think we have a problem with perversion. Did it stem from lust? I'm not certain, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Sometimes when I think about lust, I just think about, sex. And sex is natural, it's normal, but people do, abnormal things. People do unnatural things, undignified things. So where does that come from? Does it come from lust, or does it come from a particular greed or overindulgence behind sex? So because what do we call a person, even if you're not married, and you desire to have sex? Is that lust? Because lust is, that's not everybody is not going to be led to perversion. You get what I'm saying? I think we live in a very perverted world. And I think the perversion, the perverts are, camouflage and blemish in, and it's hard for us to recognize them because everything is so explicit. Everything is so right there at the natural human eye. I think we're past the point of competition. I think we're in a state of perversion. I don't think it's lust. I just don't. But see, that's cool for us to say. I love what you said. I can't see your name because I don't have my glasses on. But the last person that said it comes down to your chakras and your sacral, and it comes down to your chakra and your sacral. You truly you truly only want intimacy if energy is positive. But see, it's easy for us to say that because we're spiritual. We think about things like that. But some people don't even know about that to even consider it, more or less think about it. So again, that type of sentence would work for us, but it may not work for the general public or the general population of people, general society. So where is it coming from? Like, where do y'all think it's coming from? Where's the perversion coming from? Inner child. Love bug, when you say it's a pleasure, like a drug, it's an addiction. What's an addiction? Break that down to me. Okay, some people say inner child, some people say trauma, some people say it's pleasure. I think the perversion is coming from home. I think it's coming from two places generally. How we grew up, our environment, what we grew up around, or who we grew up around. There is a perverted spirit that we were around, that we learned from, and I think people add on to that. Now, that's one area. The second area is society. Society will turn you out if you allow society to get their hands on you. I'm not saying what y'all are saying is not correct. I definitely agree. But I think it's more of an I think it can be narrowed down a little more. When you think about growing up as a child, now I challenged myself to think about some things tonight in my own childhood when I was laying there. Then I thought about some things in my daughter's childhood, as far as like, how I raised her. I didn't date when she got past the when she got out of elementary school. That I just said I would just wait until after she graduated high school. But I think when people grow up around certain things, it's a learned behavior, and then they kind of tweak it until they find their niche in it, so to speak, and they groom themselves in perversion from where they come from, or from where they have gotten. And where they have gotten, some people in society, you know I think about with myself when I was doing the escort business, and you know I was being groomed to be a madam, not realizing or knowing what a madam was. I'm thinking my friends and I are going on these upscale dates. We're going out of town. We're traveling. We're seeing different parts of the world. We are around some very rich, men. We're wearing, they're dressing us, getting our hair done, our nails done, not nicely manicured, our feet done, our makeup professionally done. They're exposing us to a different type of life and lifestyle. But behind the scenes, you know, the type of fun they were having with those men was a different type of fun that I didn't know about at that time. And then I think about Kenneth and I. I was 21, Kenneth was 38. There was a 17-year gap. So, when I look at 21 and 38 now, what does a 21-year-old and a 38-year-old have in common? Not much of anything, just honestly speaking. So I look at my promiscuous behavior with Kenneth, and Kenneth was fine. Kenneth, he never looked his age. I'm not even gonna lie. So I think about those things, and I broke it down to natural and unnatural, and how I really did capitalize off of some things I knew when, from my growing up, from my rearing, from my family. But society didn't get their hands on me um as much as others, because I had Nosha. You know what I'm saying? And I had some things that I was taught was nasty, disrespectful, degrading. And my daddy would say ill manner, the word ill manner. And so I was taught those things as a child, and what sex was not to be and what sex was supposed to be. So I didn't see an issue with me having sex with a 38-year-old person and me being 21 versus um me not knowing that my friends were basically paid in two different ways to have sex and unnatural sex with these other older men. They were being turned out in a way that Kenneth, he did not even try me in that manner. Just to give y'all a little bit of an insight of me, and I know I'm not the only woman that's like this. You know how you meet a guy and you decide to have sex, and that's why I like when I talk to guys now, and I have no problem talking about sex. I like to know what a man likes, what he desires and what he wants from me as it pertains to sex, because the first thing I say, I don't do blah blah blah. I'm not sucking no bird. I don't kiss. I ain't nothing going in my butt. I'm that kind of person. But I've always been that because I was taught those things were unnatural, they were disgusting, they were degrading, they were ill mannered, they were disrespectful if a man asked you to do those things. So that stayed in me. But Kenneth, so we never I never had that issue with him. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with y'all, I ain't never had that issue with no man I ever dated, or slept with. Just period. So I think it comes to a level of standards. I think it comes to a level of personal standard. What we were taught when we were young, some people stick by it. Some people, it grows up in them and it becomes, strongly rooted in us. And we just don't have room. We don't have a margin to compromise. You feel me? So when I look at it now, I was like, man, my friends is, I kind of look at myself now. I was like, that really was some whole stuff, you know. That was some straight up whole stuff. It's like I was a madam, but I didn't understand the whole type of setting that I allowed them to be in, because I'm just thinking, well, I got a friend, y'all. I want y'all to meet, and he got some friends. If y'all want to go hang out and have some fun. I was thinking the fun was and then into the world that they exposed us to, the world of riches. And you talking about jewelers, us going to certain events, going to professional basketball games, and riding in limousines, being chauffeured and stuff like that. So I'm thinking that was the fun, but the fun was behind the scenes, the sex. You know what I'm saying? And some of them, they did some stuff. Because when we came, of course, when we started talking, like, what you did old guy ever try you? And one of my friend girls from back then, she actually married the one particular man. She actually got pregnant from him, and they got married, and they live in Vegas, and they have a very lucrative business. They make over they make a lot of money. I'm just gonna say they are true multi-millionaires. So for her, it worked out for the long run. For me, I think that was an add on to my life and life lessons. To the other girls, I think it shaped them in different areas as well. So when I look at today's society, I look at things from that same lens, so to speak. So I just think that some people are gonna do it and some people are not. In my case, all the women, like all the girls that I was around in that season of my life, they were what people call, fine. She fine, she bad, she look good. It's what somebody may call a baddie. I was just the okay girl. I was just the average. But that's what Kenneth loved about me the most. He always complimented me on that. And he always told me I was a true Southerner. So what his attraction to me was not just beauty. It wasn't. And Kenneth has had, his first wife, gorgeous. She's still alive. She's still gorgeous. So I'm just saying, I think people get introduced to perversion early, or that seed is planted or dropped early. And I think it's up to the life choices are going to shape you. And if you allow that seed or that spirit of perversion to be watered, nurtured, grown, and blossom inside of you. So that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was thinking about tonight. Okay, the dark side of society, social environment. Oh yeah, that dark side is something serious. But y'all, sometimes the dark don't look dark. Cause as I think about things that us going out with those older gentlemen back then, I look at it now and I think about, that was some whole stuff. You know what I'm saying? That I think about it like that now. I think about, I guess I don't know if the word is blessed, if the word is favored. I'm not sure what the word is to use for this next sentence, but I feel like I was blessed, favored, maybe even fortunate that Kenneth did not attempt to turn me out, because I mean, if you think about it, he could have, and because we were impressionable, for some of them it worked out, because other things in their life just could make me think like, well, dad, they been on some whole stuff. But I I don't know. I just feel like that was a shaping of my life. And I think for me, now, ain't no thing. I know for me personally, that's why money don't do it for me. Because I've always attracted men with money, big money. I've just never, people have just never known that unless you were close to me. But I've always attracted that. But also, I'm not accustomed to men trying to get me to do degrading things. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, where is that switch? What happened with that? I'm just trying to figure out, like, do y'all think something happened in the generations, and that's why we have the generation of, I think it's perversion. I don't think it's just lust. I know some people may say it's lust, but I just don't know exactly where it came from. But I don't think it's lust. I think it's perversion. And to a degree, y'all, I'm gonna be honest, I'm starting to think that, like, you know maybe sometimes words are more normal than what we think, know, or were taught, because we were all taught that lust was a bad thing, because lust will lead you into sex. But could it be that it's perversion that we should have in the place of lust? So that's what I'm saying. Like, how, I'm just trying to figure out, like, how do people get to the spirit or the energy of perversion? Is lust a gateway to it, or has perversion been taught from like a home setting, or you've been given some sort of exposure of perversion from your childhood and where you grew up and you were groomed in it, and then for others that didn't experience it from home, is it society? So that's my thing, because these things have become so natural now. We've normalized so many toxic behavior. I think that's another reason why there are so many toxic relationships. People normalize toxic and dysfunctional relationships, and they don't have a problem with it until they get something that they cannot get rid of. Then they start looking at themselves saying, I should have been got out of this. Why did I stick around? Blah, 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 blah. They don't have an issue with it until it has become detrimental to their life. Yeah, I think for some of us, even before we became very spiritual. I just think some people do. I just think some of us, we're just not going to share ourselves. We may or share ourselves in a certain way, because I feel like sex is normal. Sex is a part of life. None of us would be here without the act of sex. So I think sex is normal. I think that we have somehow gotten to and unnatural and abnormal parts of sex that we're thinking that it's just sex, but it's not sex. I think it's perversion. Oh wow. Listen at what this person said. Did you know that gaslighting um is not a interesting. Hold on, what she said? She said gaslighting is not real. Hold on. My words ran together. Did you know gaslighting is not a real term and never existed in the first place? See, that's what I'm saying. It's so many. I don't know. People come. I'm not gonna lie. Many years ago, I didn't know what gaslighting was. Yes, I definitely agree. We have a limit. I think those of us that are grown, I'm 45. So, and it's not just older people that's this way, because I think there are still younger people that's this way because of their rearing limits. Some people have limits and boundaries, others do not. Like darkness. We cannot have darkness without light. We can't have light without darkness. They go hand in hand. You know, when you talk about good and bad, you can't have good without bad, but the divider is evil. Evil has no boundaries. And some people I think don't have boundaries. And I think they don't have boundaries because they don't have, standards. They don't have, like you said, that limit. They've been perverted. They've been corrupt. They've become corrupt. They have tapped into evil, the sinister things, the vile things. And then the door of all types of stuff is just open, and we see a beautiful person and we think, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful, she has a nice body. Some of these bodies are built, but many of them are brought as well. We can't really tell the difference. Well, I say I can't always, but we look at that and we measure ourselves, and compare ourselves. But in honesty, y'all, we cannot compare where we don't compete. In my season of 20 and 30s, I had a nice body. That's just straight period. My body didn't start changing until about 35. I didn't start having weight issues primarily to where I couldn't get the weight off and keep it off until 35. So you think about that season of my life where I was with Kenneth. I can only imagine what women his age was thinking in their head when they saw me, a naturally built physique. And at that time, I used to love weights, falling up behind my brothers. So I could only imagine what they thought. Like, what's he doing with that little young girl on his arm? What's he doing with that young girl on his hand? You know what I'm saying? So I think when we have it, we have it. Some keep it longer, some don't. But I just feel like, there's a limit. That there's a limit. I think sometimes, even to be honest, maybe even gaining the weight and not being able to get it off so easily, I've also began to look at that in a blessing. Maybe for some people it may be too much of temptation. They would be too much of temptation to somebody. It would cause them to go into the darker crevices and tap into evil and lose the boundaries in their life. So I just feel like everything works for our good when we learn how to work it, or when we learn how to accept it. Yep, I agree with that. She said darkness is the absence of light. I totally agree with that. And I think that we would not recognize the darkness if we were not in the light. See, I couldn't recognize. I'm saying, I'm using myself not as an example of good, but just I'm just being honest. I couldn't recognize the dark part of me, 21, 22, being with this older gentleman. And then when Kenneth and I, when we stopped having a love affair, we developed a very good friendship that took us onto his grave, when he passed. So he was one of my great teachers of life. But he opened me up to a world of resources. But if I was just a freak for him, I don't think I would have got that. You get what I'm saying? So I didn't see it. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I just thought, oh my God, he's so fine, and he just, he was so fine. Um, he's one of those highly attractive men, to be honest. But were, God bless his soul. But I didn't see it like I see it now. So I think some things it just takes us. We have to experience it, and I think the longer we in it, the harder it is for us to, number one, get out, and then number two, to see the light. Like, oh my God, I think I was in a little darkness. Yeah. So I just feel like nowadays we have so many things that would keep us or try to make us feel like um we're in the light. But can you ever look at your life and say, I was once in the dark? You know what I'm saying? And your dark may not be the same thing as my dark or the next person, but can you see some things that you have done and you like, man, that was some whole stuff. Um, yeah, I think about that. But now I feel like because so many things of, I feel like so much of dark stuff has just been normalized. I'm just gonna be honest. And for me personally, um, I got into this thing called age appropriate dating. I've desired someone that was age appropriate because being with Kenneth was not easy. It looked easy, and my friends like, oh my God, Candy, he gets you anything you want. He will bring his car down here and leave it for you. Oh my God, he does so much for you. He takes you this place. So people were looking on the outside, but what they didn't see was this on the inside of our love affair that stopped, and then our friendship that started. They did not see a man that, I guess some people would use the word groom. He groomed me, but Kenneth was very hard on me because behind the scenes he used to always tell me, Candy, you're not like the other girls. So I want to make sure you understand that. To be honest with y'all, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna say it. I used to feel like he was trying to be a dad to me, and I told him, Kim, you're not my daddy, because he wouldn't want me to wear certain things, dress a certain way. He always like the stuff he used to buy me were mature looking clothes or have made for me, tailor made for me. He would have tailor making clothes for me. When our love affair stopped, I got into a little bit of trouble, and I kind of hid from him. And I was unemployed, and then I got a job at this place called Advance America. Um, so because I was in like an office setting, he used to always tell me, you need to dress like you're tomorrow, dress like you're already the supervisor, the assistant to the supervisor. So he started having clothes tailor made for me. I'm gonna post a picture of one of them, y'all, of one of my outfits. And he used to tell me how to wear my hair. So he used to dress me from head to toe, for a professional look. And my friend girls, all they saw was, oh my God, this man always bringing you these clothes down here, these nice shoes, and you always get your hair done once a week. Sometimes you get your hair done twice a week. But they saw the glitz and glam, but behind that, they didn't see the instructions that came from his mouth to my ears. And sometimes he would be a little cruel with his words. He wasn't a big thing on weight, but he was about keeping yourself put together. A lady looking like a lady. He said, when you are a lady, you carry yourself as a lady. You have no business looking like a slut. He would say, I didn't find you looking like a slut, and I'm never going to see you looking like a slut. So, yeah. So that part of me, they didn't get that part from those guys. They got fun. I got some fun. I got a lot of trips. I got a lot of exposure. I met a lot of celebrities, a lot of rich and wealthy people. I met a lot of resourceful people. But it's like he put stuff on the inside of me that, y'all, I'm about to cry. I'm sorry. Hold on. Sometimes talking about him, it can be a little emotional in a good way, because like I said, he didn't turn me out. It's like I feel like that part of him, more so when our friendship began, I feel like he turned me into something. The knowledge, a lot of knowledge that I have, he gave me that. Even when it comes to my daughter, um, during Black History Month in school, the teachers told, how kids have to bring a report in on Black history. So there's a part of life that Kenneth made history on, and he had my daughter to write about him and his legacy that he would leave, that he has now left behind, and his portfolio, his financial portfolio. And the lady, her teacher, at first wouldn't allow it, but because she said she wanted somebody from Black history. And so my daughter was like, well, Mr. Kenneth is making history. And so when she opened the little book thing, she was amazed. She was wow. And she said, "Is this your dad?" And she said, "Nah." She said, "No, ma'am. This is my mom's good friend." So she was very wild at what she saw, um, as a black man. But it's those things that, I dwell on, and I reminisce on a lot, that make me remember, maybe it took me meeting him when I was 21 and having a short season of a love affair with him. But what I got after the love affair, there's nothing that could top that. We could not have had a better friendship. Yeah, we definitely did. Um, and my last trip with him was Father's Day. I took a Father's Day cruise with him last year, right before he passed. So yeah, definitely. I feel like today's society, I don't, I might not know all the words like y'all know them and y'all have them, but that whole grooming. I was reading this other article about this lady. Was it Celine Dion? I think it was. She said she met her husband at 12. She was 12 and he was 50 something. I was like, that was a pervert. Excuse me. She said he waited until she was like 15, 18 before they had sexual intercourse. But I was like, that's a pervert. You were a child. I look at those things, but I also compare them, to my life. And although my friends considered Kenneth to be, my sugar daddy, and it was like, Candy, you don't never have no trouble because Kenneth always come, he always, look out for you. So you always good. You and Nosha got it so easy. But behind the scenes, if I would call Kenneth and when I had money problems, he would be the last person I would tell, because he would take me from point A to Z. How did you get there? How did this happen? What did you do? Why did you think that was good? Why did you not think about that? Did you pray about that? Tamika, why did you spend your money like this? Where's your savings? Where's your trust? He said, where's your emergency fund? Where's your just in case fund? They didn't see that side. They didn't experience that side. They just thought, okay, oh God, here comes Ken, and Ken, if he didn't flew in, and he coming to get candy, or he coming to bring candy stuff. But a lot of times they didn't see, I guess, the lecture that I had to get, or the lecture that I would get. It wasn't just, give me money. Now, I've had those seasons with him, y'all, where he just kind of, I guess, just splurged. But when we started our friendship, Kenneth is a hard man. He was very hard. He was very disciplined. He was a hard man, and tight, and pockets tight, honey. He don't, he's just not, I'm gonna give you my money to waste it. Multi-millionaire or not, he didn't believe in wasting money. So I think when we see people, going back to what we originally said, we see women that get a certain type of man. Do you think that they're getting the good man because, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful? Oh my gosh, she has a nice body. Oh my gosh, she got so many followers, so many subscribers, so many views. One of the main things Kenneth told me when I came to social media, he said, I better not ever see your ass on the internet. He said, I bet not never see your ass on the internet. He said, I mean that. If he when Kenneth spoke to me, if he called me Tamika, that was one thing. He's called me Candy, it meant something else. He had another definition behind it. But he was serious about that. He said there's enough holes out here, so the internet should not turn you into a hole. And he said that's what it does. And I was like, well, Dad, what do you mean by that? But I can now, in the last year, about the last 2 years, I can definitely understand what that meant more now than what it meant then. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. She said, I think every real lady that we see today had that sugar daddy input that made us better. Yeah. I think my first sugar daddy was my daddy. Now, I've shared the story with my parents, so if you know it, you know it. If you don't, we ain't going over it tonight. But my dad was a spoiler to me. Um, my dad sometimes made, most of the time, made sure I had a little more, or sometimes a lot more than my brothers, and he would always say, because I'm the baby girl, I'm his baby. He would always say that I'm his baby girl. That's just the way it is. That was just the way it is. So my first spoiler to life was definitely my dad. And the only difference between, I guess, me and a man that was similar to my dad, um my dad didn't ask certain questions. If I needed help, money, or something like that, sometimes he would just know. So he would do. And then most of the time he did what I call prevention. Especially after I had NOSHA. My dad kept me with certain things that will prevent me from going into certain areas of life. Yeah, and that's, yeah, and my dad was a very firm, straightforward, blunt, man, very straightforward, very blunt. Um, I can't. For me personally, I can't really say. I can't say that I will. I still don't feel. I never feel comfortable regarding Kenneth as a sugar daddy, because that's not what he was. Um, One of the things he molded me in and and that I got from my dad was a security of myself. Now, Kenneth, of course, had triple, if not quadruple times the money than my parents combined. But at the same time, he was not a man that I looked to for money. I did not know Kenneth was a millionaire, more or less a multimillionaire, when we got together. I didn't know that. I just thought he was educated because of his grammar. I thought he was just a person that had swag and dressed well because of how he carried himself, his attire. I did not know Kenneth's worth. Some time went by. And if I can be very honest and transparent with y'all, when the first time he and I went to DC, when he took me to different homes, and he took me to his basic house first. I did not see the luxury of his life until he started seeing who I was as a woman to myself. And I think I'm gonna tell you something. I love that. I love that about him, and I appreciate it to this day, because he always told me, especially after I found out who he was and what he really does for work and stuff like that. Um, he always said he knew I was not money driven, or what he called back in the day money hungry. But he was a man of true wealth, and he was definitely a man that could, camouflage his life to make sure that he didn't get gold diggers. And I think that's what he wanted to make sure he didn't get caught up with in life again. So when I see men now that are flashy and they want women to know they have money, that shows me, number one, a weak man, number two, an undisciplined man. Because when you allow people to know everything that you have, or the majority or the bulk of it, then guess what? All people will do is use your life as a weapon against you. So I did not even know that about him until much later. And I mean much, much. The love affair had ended. He always talked about work. He had a very scheduled life, a very detailed life. And when it came to work, he did not play about work. He never said, I'm a business owner, I own this. He was like, well, Candy baby, I have to work. I can request to take some time off such and such time. When he used to take a whole month off and come stay with me, I was like, God, you got a lot of time that you can take off. You gonna get paid for it. And he was like, yeah, I just took some extra PTO off. So he camouflaged his life. I'm not going to say hid it. He camouflaged it. But when he opened up his life to me, it's been nothing but a blessing from that day to this very moment right here. So I would tell I like I said, I look at stuff like that, but I don't necessarily think every I definitely don't think men of money, except for like, when some people that make public money, they're rich or wealthy or famous, but there's a lot of people that make money in different ways, honey, and they camouflage their life for the security of it because they will attract people with a lot of problems. He educated me on stuff like that after the fact as well. So when men just put everything out front, he's real. I take it as, they're, fishing, as my dad would say, baiting you. And the bait is the money. And when a man, especially when people, men, we're saying men right now, but when men know that he has, or they have more money than us, and they dingle it in front of us, it's a dingle of control. It's a wave of control. It's a wave of control when they want you to know, because they want you to ask. They want you to not just want them but need them. Um and all my life with Kenneth, he's always told me, "You've never needed me." He said, you've never needed me. You have everything that you need right inside of you. So so going back again to the women on, I'm just using Instagram, but I'm sure it's other, platforms that's done on. I just see it most of the time on Instagram. So when I see those women now, it takes me back. It just takes me back, and it just makes me kind of, real, just kind of rethink some things. Um, but I feel like I don't know. I just feel like we are in a state of perversion, not just lust. And I think the perversion for some people comes from maybe an inward place. And I think for those that's not perverted from like where they grew up around that inward place, I think society has gotten them. I think society definitely has gotten them. So in closing, ladies, when I was clicking on YouTube to do this video, I saw, now I don't know how true this is. I'm asking y'all. I saw that there was an accusation or a court document that was filed against Jay-Z, and uh, she said he forced her to be sexually active with her at the age of 13. Have y'all seen that? Oh my God. I can't see your name, but I know it starts with a D, Dirt Slinger. That type, enjoy the little things. Kenneth told me that regularly. He put emphasis on that right there. That's a big omen for me. He always said enjoy the little things. Enjoy and appreciate the little things of life. Okay, so Suzette, is it true? So I'm sure they have not arrested him. So a person has filed a complaint against him or some sort of court document. People were speculating saying that he was next. Allegedly for now. Yeah. Oh yeah, Beyonce gonna stand by her man, honey. But you know what, y'all? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with women standing by their man and their man's guilt. I guess guilt, shame, or wrongdoing, or whatever have you. Whether it's long ago, whether it's recent. But my only stance with that is this right here. When, especially with these type of allegations, you can't say what another woman has experienced from a man, that's good to you. Who he is to Beyonce is not who he allegedly was to this 13-year-old girl. So they got two versions of him. And I guess that still can go back to the perversion as well. Perversion and lust and being overtaken by those things. And just think about some of us, y'all. We've dated people that have had rumors about them, or we found out things about them. Who they were to somebody else may not be who they were to us, or vice versa. So we can't say, oh no, he's they're slandering his name. We can't say, oh no, he would never do that. We don't know. We just simply don't know what we now. If this is true, 13, that's a child. She involved. Girl. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm so confused at Jay-Z and Beyonce ages, because child, well, not people, but the internet be saying so many different things. Okay, so let me say this right here. You said there's a 12-year age difference between Beyonce and Jay-Z. But let's say she was 30 and she met him at 42. I don't have a problem with that. And I say that because she's of age. It's not that he's 42 and she's 20. You know what I'm saying? Because then it would be a little challenging. I think when people are older and date younger people, I just don't like to see that 30, 40, 50 year gap, because to me it's just, I don't know, it's just that spirit, it makes me think pervert. But y'all, when somebody's 10, 12, maybe even 15 years, it just depends on how the bottom number falls, in my opinion. That to me is like, why would you want someone that young? I don't know any reason for anybody in their 60s wanting somebody in their 20s. There's nothing in common. That's what's been trending. Okay, so let's chat about this for a few minutes, since my behind gonna be up all night. I think a lot of time these people know. I think a lot of time these wives, girlfriends, they know what their significant others do have gotten into. They know. It's no secret. She met him at 18 and they dated a year later. Who, Jay-Z and Beyonce? Mm. Oh. Yeah, but I've heard rumors on the internet as far as, Beyonce's age being changed, altered, her date of birth and stuff like that. Cause I'm really not certain how old she is. Yep. I believe these partners be knowing exactly what their partners get into. Um, but that whole industry, y'all, that I'm not gonna say the industry is corrupt. I'm not gonna say it's not corrupt. It's definitely, a little tainted, something going on, because these stars be growing up and they be saying things, and it just makes me wonder. She's in her 40s, okay. Mm-hmm. I still don't know to this day why Beyonce parents got divorced. Yes, it's a lot of wicked things, honey, with these industries and these secret societies. I think they still lying about their age, to be honest. They lie and cover stuff up. They can have stuff taken, put in the internet, taken down. Have y'all seen Jaguar? Right. That's her name, Jaguar. They had her take, they took her interview down from Pierce. So I was wondering one time, I was like, well, maybe some of that stuff she is saying is just, opinions and not facts. I personally think the reason why he hadn't sued her, number one, so it doesn't bring her more publicity. I think that's one reason why. And then number two, well, I think three reasons. Number two, because I think they can cover up things more of what they did or do. She's not the threat that she tries to be. And then the third thing is because she doesn't have anything for him to take. So suing her would be pointless. So I just personally think with that, I think he allows her to speculate and say things as far as like on the internet with YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and things like that. But when it comes to doing professional interviews, now this stuff on YouTube, y'all, this be straight gossip and speculation. The same way we in here doing this right now. But when it comes to um professional interviews like Pierce Morgan, that was retracted, that was taken down, and I don't think anybody will give her an interview on a professional platform because there are some things that there is no validity to of what she's saying and accusing him and many other people of. And there are many celebrities that she's spoken against and said things, they themselves have come out and said that she's lying. Yep, I definitely agree. They are they are definitely accustomed to the scrutiny. Yep. Now let me ask y'all this right here. Did y'all see or did y'all hear that Bishop T.D. Jakes sued the man for millions that accused him of being inappropriate with him? Nah, I'm going by speculation. I heard Bishop Jakes did that. Yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I know many people don't like him, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm glad that he did that. Because it shows a level of integrity. He's fighting for that for himself, and he's not gonna allow, his sexual character to be torn down off of speculation. And that's not just a natural move that he did, it's a very spiritual move because he's cursing those type of allegations and that type of frequency, not only from him but from his children, his grandchildren, and his great grand. And for him to be suing this man for the money that he's suing the man for, the man don't even have the money, y'all. He don't even have it. It just shows a level of, oh no, you're not gonna play with me on this right here. Wait, it was several what? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad Bishop Jakes, stood up for that. I'm just gonna be honest on that one. It's so disheartening with the things that we do see in social media, or just just in general when it comes to the church nowadays, especially those of us that come from that type of setting. I don't think we want to see all these people go down, but it is very disheartening to see these type of accusations. So on that level, I'm definitely glad. Yeah, yeah, he's definitely covering his children. The man didn't have any receipts. He was just saying that Bishop Jakes, had did what he said he did. Nah, I haven't seen or heard of any receipts. Yeah, I feel like this right here, for everybody that was accusing Bishop Jakes of being inappropriate at the Diddy parties, I'll say this, and I'm going to be honest. Do I feel like him going to those Diddy parties or being closely associated with Diddy compromise his character? Yes. But y'all, he's a bishop. He's a bishop. He is going to be around people that are quote unquote not like they say he is, or supposed to be, as far as, I'm not gonna say he's closer to God than them, but he's an influence to them. That's what I'm saying. So I don't have an issue with that. I think he, maybe challenged things when he allowed his guard to come down and go in their setting, their atmosphere. I think with people that are truly set on this earth to influence us to draw closer to God, especially from the pulpit, I think their walk with God is different. And I do believe that they really shun a lot of quote unquote worldly things, or things that are that could be easily called demonic, devilish, because they have to protect their character. So I don't have an issue with him being around any of those celebrities, but it needs not to be in some of their settings, because most celebrities are in somewhat of a devilish, toxic, corrupt environment. But he's needed. He's a celebrity pastor, and he needs to, fellowship with them, just not at their place. And I'm not saying like, oh, they got to come to his house or something like that. I'm just saying it needs to be, some maybe some modifications need to take place, because it's become so hard for us to see the true elders in the church ministry. And I believe that they are still out here, but with all this stuff that's in the internet and in society, is challenged. Now, on the flip side, I also understand this a little more in life. Bishops, pastors, elders, guess what? They struggle with temptation just like we do, y'all. And some of them may fall, just like we have fallen or laid down. But the closer your walk with the Lord, some things you might not do as much or be too enticed to do. And that's on some things, because all of us have some sort of an issue. Ain't nobody exempt from that. Nobody. It's something that all of us got, we struggle with. So I just feel like, sometimes I feel like there's too much of pressure, or there's too much of looking up to a pastor more than God. I think people have their relationships off when it pertains to, clergy. And then when you find out something that clergy does, or, or around, and it doesn't align with the Bible, then you want to beat them with many stripes. No, that's for God to do. That's not for us to do. But I understand the protocol of it. I'll say that. Yep, they are human just like us. And then sometimes, I don't think pastors and stuff get enough credit for when they have to leave their house or their families in the middle of the night because they're church members, or, something catastrophic has happened in another person's life and they got to leave their family to go support another family. I don't think those things are spoken of enough, but it happens a lot. Yep, I agree. When they hold those titles, you know, there's a certain lane they gotta stay in. But I think I'm gonna say I understand. I can understand that lane being challenged a lot. Yep. We all have something that we need to really, if we focus on self enough, we ain't gonna be able to look at people, at other people, but so much. and their flaws, because it will remind us of our own. And I'm talking about real life, not like tarot readings. I'm talking about real life. Mm. I'm familiar with Mary Magdalene. I know who that is, and I'm very familiar and versed with her relationship with Jesus. Yeah. What I have learned, y'all, in my life, especially I'm gonna say in the last 5 years, or maybe the last 4 years since I've been on YouTube. Let me just be straight blunt. You know, different seasons of your life are going to pull out different versions of you, and every version of you is not the best version. Every version of you is not the most friendliest version. Every version of you is not the most healthiest version, but it pulls out what's in you, period. And as we have an intimate relationship with the Lord, no matter what version of you is pulled out, provoked, or tapped into from somebody else, you always know who you are, and you know where you need to get your behind back to. So that's what I say as far as life. And some things are needed. And although we want to talk good talk all the time, it's going to take some bad things to help us get to the good and stay in the good a little bit longer. Absolutely. Nobody is perfect. I understand flaws a little more in the last 2 years. I understand flaws a little more in the last 2 years than what I have, I think, in my entire life. Yeah, I remember studying that about Jesus and Mary Magdalene being married. I remember that. But I couldn't like find it directly in the Bible, but I do remember I remember that. Yeah, we all should be striving for something, individually. I think when it comes to influencers, people look up to influencers too much. And excuse me, and we don't know these people past the point of their own platform. And we only see the version of them that they display on their platform. That's not all of them. It might not even be 20% of their life, their lifestyle, or their living. But what it is what they show us. I just feel like people show us what they want us to see, period. I know I do. So whether that be a bad thing, whether it be a good thing, I know it's the truth for me. I know I camouflage a lot about my life. And I'm saying that to be honest, just to be straightforward, because there are so many nosy people out here, and every influencer, just like anybody else, everybody has somebody in their life looking for them to mess up, looking for them to have a setback, looking for them to have a downfall. Everybody has that. Everybody has that person in their life. So as you learn that or discover it, you just learn to camouflage your life more. For an example, you know, I actually use the energy of sex to keep people confused about my personal life. And what do I mean by that? It's simply this. People think because I talk about sex and I dress sexy or a little provocative with my breasts out, they make the assumption that I'm sexually active. No, no, no. December 8th made 5 years for me. It just makes it easier. And because I've noticed this right here, people don't have true spiritual discernment. A lot of people do not. They have assumptions, they have opinions, and they have a lot of chatter. That's what they have. That's what they have. And I'm probably going to delete this video since I said that, because I don't even want people to know that. But it's just easier. It's just easier to make people think what they know about you is truth, and then your life be something completely different. It's just easier because you just feed to them. Let's talk about feeding a person. You know, people feed you what they know you want to hear, whether it be about your life or their life. Now when it comes to tarot, I'm gonna give you a straight truth to that tarot. With my life, I'm gonna take a lot of ducks and dodges because my personal life is my personal business. I love sex. I definitely want some. I definitely desire it. But I'm not gonna beg. I'm not gonna compromise myself just to get it. I don't want anything that can't be consistent. So I'll create and something like I have done a few times, to make it appear that I'm having sex. And when I know I have nosy people in my life that think I don't know who they are, I just simply lie to them because I know they are a liar to me. I get that from my daddy. That's what he taught us to do, and I still do that. And my daddy been gone 10 years from this earth. People too nosy. People will take more interest in your life just to figure out what you got going on to try and tear it down. And I don't have no problem saying it. Oh yeah, they gonna spread it, honey. But see, sometimes you got to lie and tell people stuff. Lying is a part of life. Lying is a part of life, honey. You will understand how to implement the necessary lies for your life. But let me tell you something. When you know people are talking about you, when you know people are trying to, behoove you, screw you over, you just gotta lie to them. Yep. People will take your truth and try to destroy you. I have experienced that. And now, if those of y'all that's in this chat room, those of y'all that's been following me on this channel, now I don't go across that subject too much. But if you've been with me on this channel for 3 years, even 2, then you've seen it's some things that I have experienced. So, the necessary lies, yes, ma'am. I got no problem with it. Hey, I'm about to make y'all laugh. Only because I'm going to delete this. Let me show you my little toy. Let me make sure nothing else ain't over there. You see that? Can y'all see this? Let me see where it's. Let me look over here. Hold on. You see that right there? You see that little pink thing? That's where my toy is. Faithful. There she go. There he go. I ain't even name it, but there it is. See, you can let people think whatever. And you should not give a rat's ass about thoughts of people, of other people's thoughts for your life. As long as you know your truth. Oh, Anna, that's so good. I used to be like that, Anna. I used to not have any toys, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I needed something, and Kenneth told me that before he died. I needed something. I needed something, honey. It's challenging out here to, find honesty. It's challenging. So that's just the route that I've decided to take. That's just the route that I decided to take, honey. Oh Lord, Gina, I hope it does still exist. I just think it's challenging to find it, to meet it. And I think because, again, we have these abnormal thoughts, abnormal behaviors, everybody looking at everything that looks good, that's being posted the most, that's being viewed the most. And then, it makes us feel like we're not good enough for or to something. It's just a lot of gunk out here. hmm Ladies, I want y'all to look the Suki up. That's what it's called. I want you to look that toy up. That toy got power to it. That is my favorite toy, honey. My favorite toy. I have that and a little bullet. I'm looking something up. Yep. But that's my choice. That's my preference. That's what I like, and that's what I'm rolling with. You know what? I like a good conversation, but y'all, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. Y'all know what I want right now in my life? With being a grandmother now, and just me gracefully approaching middle age. I really desire and long somebody to cuddle with and watch TV with. I just do. Like, I desire to cook more at home. I just desire to have that companion that I can be close and intimate with, that I can wear my bonnet around. Keep, because y'all know I love my bonnet and my scarves, that I can wear my scarf. I don't mind date night. I don't mind date night. I don't mind getting dressed up and going out. But it's just when you're home, you want somebody you can be relaxed with, somebody you can be comfortable with, somebody you can be safe around. Yep, yeah. But I don't want someone that's just gonna be in and out. Only time you can hear from them is when they want some sex, when they need some sex. And then I don't feel like a woman should have to ask a man to sleep with her. It should come natural. We should be in the bed cuddling, hugging, kissing, and it goes with the flow. It just happens. Or we have our routine schedule that we have sex or make love on Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday. Skip Thursday, maybe Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. One time on Saturday, relax. You know what I'm saying? Relax on Sunday. That's just how I think, and that's what I want. And I don't know, for men my age, to be honest, the men my age want younger women, and that's just something that I've accepted, and that's cool. Um, Most of the men my age want younger women, but the ones that don't want younger women and they want women our age, they're not realistic. Number one is your size. You can have those that are all about size. Then you have those that are players. Then you have those that will leech off of you. So it takes some time. I'm 45, love bug. It takes some time, And I really, to be honest, I've dated a lot of guys in the last, I'll say 2.5, 3. I've dated a lot of guys. Um, I still don't know how to kiss. I definitely got to work on that. But it's just a compatibility long term. Now I've met some really nice guys that I've had compatibility to be with and around for about 6 months or a year. Now if I would have opened up and started having sex with them, it would have been short term sex. And that's not what I want. I want a level of consistency. I want a man that can be around and that wants to be around. I don't have no problem with sex, and I'm that's just me personally. Um, but I haven't been able to give it up because I've not met anybody, like I said, with that long term consistency. Terry, why you want to see my face? Now y'all know when I'm in this bedroom, I don't show my face. I told you I just woke up. Yep. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Even on the nights that I use my toys. Um, Even in that, I still desire, a man, a companion to have with that, to for the extra fun. Oh, oh, hey Terry, love bug, you knew. Terry, I look rough, child. I slept all day after my grandbaby went home. Yeah. You can scroll down and find a picture or two of me on my community board, or it's a bunch of shorts that show my face. But yeah, so yeah, that's where I am. Um, but I lie about it, ladies. What I told y'all, that sex part, I lie about it big time. Yeah, skin to skin is good when you have that person that you're with and that you can trust, and y'all, you can be safe with. You can't be skin to skin out here, Terry. Don't you be out here skin to skin with everybody. Skin to skin is good, but you got to be safe about that thing, honey. You got to be careful. You got to be cautious. Well, ladybugs, that's it. I'm gonna get up in here and record a few more videos. I don't know how many more left I got to do, but I know it's a lot. Um, Stomach to stomach, eye to eye. That is. It's a great thing. It's a great feeling. It's a great experience. Y'all, Terry trying to get it in. Terry, we feel you, honey. Some of us feel the same way. It just hasn't been, favorable for us. But it will in due season. It will in due season. It will in due time. Nope, I'm no voodoo doctor. Ladybugs, y'all have a good night. We'll catch up later on today with, Monday sometime. I probably won't post any videos because I got a lot more videos I got to record and email from off that special that I ran. So I'll catch you all probably around Tuesday, maybe something like that. Maybe tomorrow. It just depends on how many videos I get done. But y'all have a good night. Peace and blessings. Great day. I enjoyed this chat. I'll leave it up for I'll leave it up for a little bit tonight. Peace and blessings. Great day. Good night, my loves. Namaste. Don't forget, take a love vitamin.